I'm interested about the legal implications of having autopilot in the Model S's,
Sure.
right? What happens, Elon, if the car does in fact crash? Who is going to be responsible when that car is on autopilot?
Yeah, so I think it's important for us to differentiate autonomous driving versus autopilot. Autopilot is what they have in airplanes. For example, we use the same term that they use in airplanes, where there's still an expectation that there'll be a pilot. So if the onus is on the pilot to make sure that the autopilot is doing the right thing. We're not yet at the stage where you can go to sleep and wake up at your destination. If we would have called it autonomous instead of autopilot if that was the case.
Right.
But what we are doing is making it a lot easier and more comfortable to drive the car, and incorporating a lot of active safety features so that the car will stay in its lane, will automatically brake, will maintain a distance to other cars, will avoid like highway barriers and other obstacles.
But that doesn't still address the question, though, Elon, which is, let's say it's on autopilot, so it's not autonomous. But if it's on autopilot and a driver says, hey, you know, this was supposed to change lanes for me, and instead it hit this barrier, I want Tesla to be responsible for this.
Yeah, I think we're going to be quite clear with customers that the responsibility remains with the driver.
Okay.
We're not asserting that the car is capable of driving in the absence of driver oversight. That will be the case at some point in the future, like maybe 5 or 6 years from now. I think we'll be able to achieve true autonomous driving, where you could literally get in the car, go to sleep, and wake up at your destination. But in order to do that, you have to have fully redundant systems. Everything's got to be redundant so that any one system breaking does not result in an accident. And you also have to prove that out over millions of miles of driving. And then, of course, then we have to prove that to the regulators to convince them that it's safe. And so I think from the point at which true autonomous driving is possible, which I now think is probably in the 5 or 6 year time frame.
You said that before, though, 5 to 6 years, yeah.
A couple of years ago, I thought it was more like 10 years, but based on the rate of improvement that I'm seeing and the progress we're making, I think we'll probably be able to do it in 5 or 6 years.
Tesla is getting into the insurance business. It will begin offering some type of an auto insurance product. They're probably going to announce it within the next month and a half. Here's Musk on the conference call talking about what they plan to offer.
Yes, we are creating a Tesla insurance product, and we hope to launch that in about a month. Okay. It will be much more compelling than anything else out there.
I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody call insurance compelling, but he believes they have a compelling product because they're going to be leveraging the autopilot technology in order to say, look, this vehicle is safer on the road than one that is driven by a human 99% of the time.
Elon Musk says that Tesla will start to offer insurance for its cars and can price it better than a typical insurance company because of the data it collects from all the vehicles on the road. You've talked about the threat of autonomous vehicles on the insurance business, but what about the threat to Geico of automobile companies themselves getting into the insurance business? And on a very similar topic, Tesla recently announced that they're shifting to an online-only sales model, and several traditional auto dealerships are also reducing their property holdings as car buyers increasingly use smartphones and the internet to shop for cars. What does this portend for Berkshire Hathaway Automotive?
Actually, General Motors had a company for a long time called Motors Insurance Company, and various companies have tried it. I would say that the success of the insurance company, of the auto companies getting into the insurance business, are probably about as likely as the success of the insurance companies getting into the auto business.
In this country, I think we're starting to feel like maybe the subsidies that Tesla gets aren't really a good way to do things necessarily.
I actually think electric cars, I think you're going to have a lot of people pushing electric cars in the United States, even though the subsidy is going away. I think it goes away at 200,000 units or something like that, and Tesla's hitting it and so on. But no, I think electric cars are very much in America's future, and I think much sooner than autonomous driving, Incidentally, I mean, we have an interest in Pilot Flying J, and so we have certain businesses that would be adversely affected with all electric. But I think we're going in that direction, and I think you'll see the American companies quite aggressive in that field.
If we have driverless cars, is that going to be an issue for the auto insurance companies like a Geico?
The answer is yes. I think it's a long way off, but there's no question. Anything that makes cars safer is very pro-social, and it's bad for the auto insurance industry. But nevertheless, the auto insurance industry has always worked on making cars safer. I mean, they've led the way on things like seatbelts and all that. But if there are no accidents, there's no need for insurance. The auto companies getting into the insurance business are probably about as likely as the success of the insurance companies getting into the auto business. I worry much more about Progressive than all of the auto company possibilities that I could see in terms of getting an insurance business. It's not an easy business at all. And I would bet against any company in the auto business being any kind of an unusual success. The idea of using telematics in terms of studying people's driver's habits, that's spreading quite widely, and it is important to have data on how people drive, how hard they brake, how much they swerve, all kinds of things. So I don't doubt the value of the data, but I don't think that the auto companies will have any advantage to that. I don't think they'll make money in the insurance business. Using the internet to shop for cars is like, using the internet for shopping for everything. It's another competitor, and there's no question that people will look for better ways. Now, the gross margin on new cars is about 6% or thereabouts. So there's not lots of room in the game, but that will be a method, and that will sell some cars. And if there are, it's another competitor. But I don't think it destroys the auto dealer who takes good care of the customers and is there to service the customers. And it's not an overwhelming threat, but it's obviously something that's going to be around and will sell some cars.